Obviously, President Trump gave a long address, and he hadn't been before the Congress in the last 4 years. But I think his areas of emphasis that he talked about in the campaign, getting the economy back, he talked about tax reform, he talked about helping people, taxes, no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security, things that he talked about during the campaign, taxes to be able to help stimulate businesses to grow our economy. He talked about the success he's already had at the border. This obviously was a big campaign item for him too, but the numbers have gone dramatically down to some of the lowest numbers ever, and that's through his deterrence and his enforcement mechanisms that he's already put in place through his executive orders and also strengthening his border patrol. He talked about our international security. He talked about how important it is for us to be strong, but also not to be taken advantage of, and to be able to have a strong military to back that up. Energy, unleashing American energy. He talked about how important it is that we maximize our energy resources and that this will lead to more prosperity, more jobs, more confidence. He also talked about things such as uh, men and women's sports and how that's unfair and how it should be prevented. I'm a big supporter of that. So it was a full speech. It was much of it very predictable, but I think a lot of it was just saying, I said what I'm going to do and I'm going to move forward with it because this is how I got elected and this is what people expect of me. Well, I think he created the Department of Government Efficiency, put Elon Musk, who's not a member of the government, but a very innovative business leader in a lot of different areas, in charge, along with using the tools of today, AI and other things, to really right size government. And, there's going to be people that get hurt through this process. We've already seen that in Parkersburg, where we've seen some job loss for the probationary employees, which is hurtful. But at the same time, I really support the effort because I think we are spending, he went through a list of things that we're spending money on. And I'm sure everybody in the audience who was watching were like, what are these things? And these are not, $10 items. These are millions and millions of dollars. And so from that aspect, I think it's a very exciting time because we always talk about we're going to cut, we're going to make sure we don't have waste, fraud, and abuse. And we never quite get to it. But you know what? He's getting to it. And I think it will provide not just his administration, but future administrations a good glide path to pulling in and reining in the bloated bureaucracies that we know exist. Yeah, he talked about energy, how important energy self-reliance is. He talked about it from a couple different things. National security, if we don't rely on Saudi Arabian oil or on Russian oil, we're stronger for that. And we don't have to do that because we have our own resources. We have natural gas, coal, oil, renewables, nuclear, everything. He also talked about the next generation of power demand, whether it's AI, whether it's data centers that are going to have a huge stress on our electricity production. So we need to be ready for that because there again, that's international security. But he also talked about it from an affordability standpoint. If we are having to struggle to get our energy, if we are having to struggle to get our resources, then that means people are struggling to pay their power bill. That means not enough people are working. And, that's where his regulation, his goal of scraping out regulations that are not needed, that are extraneous, is also going to feed into this energy production. And so I sat right behind the energy secretary. He is known to be a real energy innovator. And I could tell he was excited by what he saw. And it's also within the power of the doable. These are achievable goals that the president set forth last night. I've spoken a lot about this. When we start to move towards what's called a reconciliation package or a tax package, we're going to be looking at where we can rein in spending, where we can cut spending. We'll do this with DOGE, but we'll also be doing it through longstanding or programs that may be obsolete. In terms of Medicaid, over 500,000 West Virginians are on Medicaid. So I'm going to tread lightly here. I want to make sure that our benefits are still there for that 500,000 people. But I do want to see that to make the program work better, there are areas that can be improved. There's fraud in there. I'm for a work requirement. Let's require work. to earn that benefit. Let's look at different ways to work with the states, because the states do a lot of the parameters around Medicaid. Let's work with the states to see if we can pull in some of the expenditures to make it work for the people that are on it presently, but also, as a money saver. And so a cut to a benefit, I think, is off the table, certainly as far as the president's concerned. And certainly as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be portrayed as that. But I do think we need to look at Medicaid to make it work better, both at the state level, but on the individual level. The message I think that the president portrays is equal opportunity to prosperity for everybody. Let's not get sidetracked into side issues that divert us from what our goal would be, so that everyone can benefit from this. Peace through strength, not peace through lengthy deployments into countries far away. Capitalize on our pluses. That's our energy, our ability to innovate. I mean, he talked about innovation. I don't think we talk about this. At the very end, he talked about how we've always innovated. We've always been the solution to the problems. And I see it as maybe a simpler time of thinking we're good, we can be better, but it's got to be for everybody. And if we're good and better for everybody, we're going to be stronger for the rest of the world. And so I think that's just a simple message that I took away from last night. I think anybody who watched the speech had to have felt some trepidation in viewing the two sides of the aisle. I mean, if we are a United States, if we can't stand up and cheer for a 13-year-old child who had brain cancer that's getting to be an honorary CIA agent as he embraces the head of the CIA, what can we clap for? And so I just feel like we've got to, it gives the message that we can't get anything done, and then we're not going to work. If it's not our side, we're not going to work together. We work together a lot. We got to continue to do this. And I hope that the message that people take away is the optimistic message that the president really conveyed.
Could you feel like the tension in there? Because
Oh, yeah.
all I'm seeing is just videos. Could you feel like it divided at all, or was it just?
I didn't realize it until I entered the second time, because I'm in leadership. I escorted the president into the chamber. When I went in by myself as a member of the Senate, everybody was standing up, Democrats and Republicans, and kind of greeting each other. When we came back in the second time, when the president was leading, we were escorting him. All of a sudden, the Democrat side just sat there and refused to participate. So you could tell the tension, but quite honestly, I think it's a disservice to the people they represent, and to the chamber, and to the office of the presidency.